Hi guys, I just recorded my 10 memorable death scenes from horror movies. Now I'm doing a non-horror version of that. So let us begin. Number 1, Bonnie and Clyde. I saw this movie when I was pretty young, the 1967 version, and I was a little freaked out by the ending. All of a sudden, just the violence and the fact that they were killed almost instantly and then their bodies continued to be animated because of the bullets. That really stuck with me and it made me a little bit nauseous, I seem to remember. It was just so violent. Number 2, Scarface. And the death that really just stands out is when Tony Montana and his friend are doing a drug deal with the Colombians in that hotel room. The fact that you don't really see a lot of it, most of it is just shown through Al Pacino's reaction, and he is my favorite actor of all time. So watching that scene, he's standing there, his friend is chained up to the shower rod, and the guy is taking a chainsaw to his friend, and he's being held there, forced to watch, and the friend's blood is getting all over his face. It is so powerful and something that really has stuck with me a very long time. Number 3, Red Sonja. I love Red Sonja. I grew up with He-Man and She-Ra, and they were my idols. Red Sonja seemed kind of like a live-action She-Ra to me, and my uncle rented this when I was, I don't even know, I had to have been 5, 6, 7 in there, and I kept sneaking peeks of the movie even though my mom told me not to, and I was obsessed with it. I wanted to rent it every time we went to the video store. And Brigitte Nielsen, I just thought she was the prettiest woman, especially as Red Sonja. As a kid, I was like, oh, I want to be like her when I grow up, kind of thing. And the death of Queen Gedrin, that is something that my dad and I remembered quite differently from how it actually happened, but I do love the fact that she is killed and just falls into the abyss. I love that so much. And I will go into more detail later about what I thought happened in that movie, but that's for another video. Number 4, Looking for Mr. Goodbar. I have such a long relationship with the movie and the book. I love both of them. I really recommend reading the book and watching the movie. The murder of Teresa Dunn is very disturbing, and in the movie, there's the strobe light effect and just the brutal nature of what's happening. It is very impactful, and it's one of those movies that you watch it and you're disturbed and you can't look away, and at the end you just sit there in silence and kind of horror. And I think part of the thing with me is that she was such a normal person, and this kind of thing happens to people, and it makes you a little uncomfortable. I was kind of obsessed with this story when I was younger. It just intrigued me, and there wasn't a lot of detail available. It's confusing because she's Teresa Dunn in the book and the movie. She is Roseanne Quinn in real life, and then she had an alias, which I don't remember off the top of my head, in Closing Time, the kind of true version of what actually happened. And her name was obviously changed in all of these to protect her family and her name. And yeah, there's a surprising lack of information about it, and it's just always been something that has fascinated me. And I love Diane Keaton, and it's just something that I recommend watching at least once. Number 5, End of the Road. Dorothy Tristan's character in this is pregnant and she gets an abortion, and she wasn't supposed to eat beforehand. She vomits and asphyxiates and dies. James Earl Jones basically is like, told her not to eat, she did, oh well. And the whole movie has this like gritty, dark quality to it, and I actually didn't love it. I've only seen it a few times. I have it on VHS. I don't know if it's on DVD. And I really should revisit it because the whole thing just makes you feel kind of sleazy. I don't know. The whole movie, I never really loved watching it. I don't love the experience. And that death scene has stayed with me, and James Earl Jones creeps me out a little bit now ever since. He makes me a little uncomfortable. So that is a movie that, yes, that death scene, pretty brutal. Number 6, the death of Barbara Jean in Nashville. I love that scene where you aren't expecting anything to happen, and all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, it's so sudden, it's so shocking, and you feel so bad because she is such a nice person, and you really like her and feel sorry for her throughout this movie. And for her to just instantly just go down, it was something that, just even knowing what happens, it still shocks me when I watch it. And it's just, she's wearing that beautiful white dress and bang, she's just dead. It was very, very well done. Great movie. I love Nashville. And yeah, it's a quick death, no gore, nothing. It's just, it's a reminder of how quickly things can just happen and you're dead. Number 7, the deer hunter. Nick's death is very impactful, very emotional. Mike goes to try and save him, and Nick has just been playing Russian roulette for cash, and he doesn't care if he lives or dies, and Mike tries to save him and can't, and his childhood friend just kills himself in front of him, and it's very, very sad. One shot that kind of, it's burned into my brain, and I think it's a great movie. I really highly recommend it. Meryl Streep, she is my favorite actress of all time. She's in it. It's so good. You have to get past the wedding scene. I know a lot of people hate it. I love it, but I understand why a lot of people don't like the full deer hunter experience. Number 8, The Ice Storm. This is a movie that just puts me in a very bad place when I watch it. It's so desolate, cold. It's just very depressing. It's a depressing movie, and it brings just this dark feeling of melancholy when I watch it, and it's very interesting. It's a great movie. I love the movie, and Elijah Wood's death in this movie is so beautiful and emotional. He gets electrocuted during this ice storm, and just the simplicity with how it happens and the finality as he slides away down the ice. It's just very gut-wrenching, you know, even if you don't like him as a character, it's just the thought of it. Whenever I go by those guardrails that are metal along the side of the road, I think about the ice storm. I think about Elijah Wood. Number 9, Nancy Allen's death scene in Blowout. I love Blowout so much. It is probably my favorite John Travolta movie, and her death at the end is one that you always think she's going to manage to get away or John Travolta's going to save her, and it doesn't happen, but the whole beauty of her death is captured so well by Brian De Palma, and the fact that there are fireworks going off and John Travolta is just so distraught, and the whole thing is just brilliant. And number 10, from The Godfather, Sonny Corleone's death. I love the Godfather movies so much. The cinematography of it is just stunning. The acting in it is brilliant. And it has such a warm yet dark, nostalgic feeling around it. And the scene where Sonny is killed on the causeway with all of that machine gun fire is very brutal, and yet it's set against a beautiful scene with the kind of openness. It's not like a crowded street or anything like that. It's just very open and blue sky, and the antique cars. It's just it's such a nostalgic, beautiful scene, and his death is definitely one that I remember and think about a lot. And the fact that they, you know, way overdo it, they, to make a point, you know, he doesn't need that many bullets to kill him. It's just more of a, you know, message. Have a spooky day.